See if we get anybody to hop on with us really quickly. Come on in. Let me get some people out here. Yo. How many we got in the chat? I see 2 people in the chat. Welcome to the platform. I just have some questions. Okay, y'all in and out. But are black women too independent? Have they bought into the propaganda about the modern day black woman not needing a man? Tell me, is it so? Do black women not need the protection of the black man? Are they self-sufficient? Can they do it all on their own without the strength of a man and the gifts and tools that a man brings to the table? Because in my opinion, it seems as if, men's overtures to that lend themselves to protecting black women are rebuffed. Protecting black women don't always mean popping out to do violence if you feel like you were insulted, or if your ego was bruised, or if somebody cut in front of you in the line at the gas station, or if you felt like somebody, said something disrespectful. A man's protection extends beyond these things. And I feel like a lot of times women conveniently and knowingly act as if they don't understand that, our inclination towards protection, being a natural inclination, that they feel like some kind of way that they can guilt us into, and they maybe can guilt some men, into going against their nature, But in my opinion, and most times, that's something that can't be negotiated. A man is going to be a man, and if a woman won't allow a man to be a man, that may force a separation. And I say a lot of times.
Man, he's a tuna, man. He's 301.
Okay.
Tuna.
Appreciate that.
I'm going to check in later.
Thank you.
I also need an airfield. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. How much is it? 23 now.
Appreciate you. What's up, bro? Woo, it's adding up, guys. I'm at the gas. We're at the shop getting a little oil change. You know how it go. Appreciate it, brother, man. All right, man. So yeah, back to the discussion. Sorry about that. Black women being under the protection of a black man. Is it possible in 2022? In some instances it is. For a traditional woman, I feel like it may be a little easier, but I still feel in many ways there's going to be a disconnect somewhere along the way. And to me, it just boils down to women having bought so fully and completely into the illusion of independence of a man that they actually feel like they're invincible. I feel like some women believe that they can go toe-to-toe with a man just because they can get out here in the world and move on an equal footing, so to speak, for all intents and purposes. Women are allowed to work, they're allowed to vote, they have access to society as a whole, just as fully and wholly as any man, for the most part. And that's, on its face. But I feel as if the limitations, natural limitations are being ignored. Natural physical limitations, emotional, mental. Men and women, we think differently. We're the yin and the yang. I feel like in order for a household, for a community, for society to function, you have to have a balance of the yin, the yang, the male, the female, the feminine, and the masculine. And what we've had in the last couple of generations is a push towards a woman-centered, feminist, driven type of society where we view all things through the lens of the female perspective. And that's not to disparage the female perspective. As I said, we need both for society to function.
All right, so you ready?
All righty.
I got
I'll
you.
take him inside. Yes, sir. Hold on, I'll be right back with you guys.
Two more, 20 off, and after 3, oil is free. You can use for any car wash.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I wrote it down everything for you, whatever he gave me the codes.
Thank
You need a major tuner back.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Okay, well, we'll get on that soon, and I'll bring it here. All right.
Thank you. Have a good one, man.
You too, thank you. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys, I'm not going to stay on here long. I just had a moment. I actually wanted to go live from the house. I think I'm still going to go live sometime this afternoon or this evening because we need to discuss this, family. Because our women out here operating, out of pocket, and it seems as if they don't know or they don't care, or both. They don't know and they don't care that they don't know. There's nothing worse than ignorance and apathy combined. I want to keep our women safe. I want them to want to be kept safe. But like I said, this illusion of independence, I believe, has given a false sense of security to a lot of women out here. Law and order, the way that the system is designed, it definitely favors the women in many situations. Especially when the law is involved and things of that nature. It does seem, sorry about that. There's a lot of things that are definitely set up in favor of women, but I'm just talking about in a real way. Oh yeah. Personal responsibility is what I'm actually talking about. What are you going to do to protect yourself? If you ever watched The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston, Whitney Houston was a famous pop star who Kevin Costner was hired to be her bodyguard because she had a stalker who had been trying to, get up close to her in real life. So Kevin Costner was hired to be her bodyguard. And I believe he was hesitant to even take the job because he didn't want to deal with a celebrity. I'll be goddamn if a lot of black women, normal everyday black women out here on these streets, don't believe that, everybody believes that they're a celebrity these days. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everybody thinks that they're a celebrity, via social media. But anyway, Kevin Costner didn't even want to take the job because he knew it was going to be difficult. If you're going to protect somebody, they have to be able to follow your directions. They have to be able to, stand behind you. You can't say protect me, and then you move outside of the lines of my protection. You know, that's just counterproductive. That's counterintuitive. That goes against the entire philosophy of you being protected. If you feel as though you can move outside of the lines that I've set for you to move within. If I build a fence and say you must stay within this, but yet you feel as you continually tread that line, and even when something happens to you, you can't turn around to me and say that I didn't protect you. You know, when I set a system in place and guidelines for you to follow, for you to remain protected. And a lot of times we set boundaries and guidelines in place because we can't be with you always. So there's going to have to be a level of personal responsibility to some degree. You know, there are some things that, you know, shit happens, and that's just life, unfortunately. But you snapped out here, moving again in a contrary fashion. When something happens to you, you can't look around and say, why didn't somebody step up to protect me? It doesn't work that way. You cannot have it both ways. It is what it is. I'm sorry, not sorry. You know, that goes, you know, on every level. We're dealing with black men protecting black women, and a black man, first of all, can't protect every black woman. You know, I believe that also, that phrase, when it's used, it gets misconstrued to try to implicate all black men in protecting every black woman. That's just physically impossible to do. You know, one black man can't protect every black woman. You know, protect the black women that are under your authority. First and foremost, you know, charity begins at home. You know, the Greek root of the word charity from the Bible means love. So if you love those in your household, and if you love those within your immediate circle, then extend that act towards them first. And I believe we lead by example, and once others start to see the example, that they'll begin to fall in line. I believe that's just human nature. If we model a positive example continually and consistently, I believe that eventually more people would be apt to follow that example. If there's a negative example or model being portrayed repetitively, constantly, and consistently, eventually that's going to be the model that takes preeminence. And as we look, you know, at mainstream media on every level, from music to television to movies, you know, even down to television commercials, you know, there's a definite push towards portraying black people in the most negative light possible. And I was having this conversation about China, where they underwent a cultural revolution. You know, they took pains to make sure that every aspect of Chinese culture that was highlighted was of the best, was of the brightest, and the most positive of images. And that's all you see. Now, they're people, they're human just like all of us. They get involved in violence and all kind of shit, just like every other person on this earth. But the media controls the images that you see. So you're going to only pretty much have a certain idea of how they get down. You're going to only think of the good things. You're going to think that, wow, Chinese people are good in math. They're very good at organizing. They're very smart. These are the things that come to mind when you think of Asian people or Chinese people. They're smart. They have businesses. They're very entrepreneurial. They have organization. They stick together. You know, when you think of a black person, you know, many negative stereotypes are first and foremost in the public perception. We're lazy, we're violent, we're over-sexual, we're oversexed, we're overly emotional. You know, these things have been propagated for centuries. And that, in many people's perceptions, is the dominant idea about black people. And we got this situation now, we have this distraction with Will Smith and Chris Rock, whether it be real or fake. It's taking up a lot of space in our collective psyches right now. All the while, we have 100,000 Ukrainian immigrants about to be piped into the United States. And it's been pretty much proven and acknowledged that Ukrainians have racist ideas and attitudes towards black Americans. I just watched a video on TD Hip Hop Media in which Tony Delurme highlighted some information that was that is visible for everyone to see on Wikipedia, in which the government organization of the Peace Corps pretty much warned anybody who was going to do volunteer work in the Ukraine that Ukrainians have very racist attitudes and perceptions when it comes to black Americans, and that they should be prepared to be referred to and called the word nigger, monkey. Be prepared to see racist images, games, toys, media, and the like. And they're about to pipe in 100,000, and I believe that, you know, that number is a low, probably on the low end. If it's 100,000, that's probably just going to be the first wave. I'm pretty sure there'll be several rounds of political refugees or refugees from war being piped into the United States, coming soon to a community near you. You know, we already have been promised pretty much a forecasted a food shortage. And I believe that, you know, how can there not be a food shortage if, for one, the supply chain is in shambles, which is, to me, in my opinion, an orchestration, you know, before our very eyes. This is being done purposefully, you know, with an influx of illegal immigrants through the southern border over the last year and some change since Joe Biden took office. You know, supply is not able to keep up with demand, and we have inflation, which is flattening everybody's pockets. You know, like I said, everybody, but, you know, there's plenty of people right now, you know, feeling the pressure. You know, everybody's working extra shifts right now, trying to, you know, create an extra stream of income just to help keep food on the table and keep the lights on. So yeah, you know, that's just an example of how politics have consequences. You know, you really do get the politics you deserve. And when you don't negotiate your vote, and you go out here and vote based on emotion or based on personality, or who you like and who you don't like, you know, this is what happens. You know, every other community has been gifted and granted certain tangibles that are going to equate to resources being funneled into their communities. And we get, you know, we get things like, you know, national hymn. You know, we get a hip hop, National Hip Hop Month. So, you know, we have to want to protect ourselves, and protecting ourselves also mean employing practical political strategies, because politics, as I always say, is about who gets what and how much. I'll say it again on my Dr. Umar Johnson. Politics is about who gets what and how much. I'll say it again. Politics is about who gets what and how much. Simple and plain. You know, politics is about the distribution of limited resources. You know, if it's 10 coconuts on the table and it's 20 groups in front of that table, and you have to send somebody to the table to negotiate for a share of those coconuts that you can bring back to your group as a tangible expression of your political choice. You know, this is the person we're going to choose because he told us that his coconut negotiating skills out of a scale of 1 to 10 were 12. And not only did he tout his resume in securing coconuts, we looked at his track record, and his track record actually shows that, you know, he has quite a few coconuts on his resume. Now, he might not be flashy. He might not have a winning smile. His shoes might be busted. He might have a out-of-date car. But his coconut negotiating skills is on point. And then we have another guy with a flashy smile and a brand new shiny car. And he tells us that, hey, you know, don't worry about those coconuts. You know, and we choose to go with that guy because he had more charisma. And we sent him to the table to negotiate for our coconuts, and he comes back empty-handed. That's our fault. You know, that's completely on us. You get the politics you deserve. And if we're going to continue, and I know I went off course. We're talking about, you know, black women being independent. But to me, it all goes together because who's at the head as far as the Democratic Party? Who do they promote as the backbone of the Democratic Party? They use black women as a prop. And they call black women the backbone of the Democratic Party. If black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, then they failed us. Because they failed to bring back any coconuts from the table. If black women are representing black people in the Democratic Party, and our political strategies and our political choices are contingent and based upon their position in the party, then their position is really basically symbolic. And this is what happens when you're able to remove the man as the head of the household and as the head of the community. And you put the woman in place to negotiate. You know, she's able to be, and this is not a knock on women, but in this case with the Democratic Party, what they have done and what they have done effectively is that they have catered to the ego of the black woman. But they have not rewarded her dedication and her allegiance to the Democratic Party with any real tangibles. So you get, you know, all of the accolades in a symbolic way. You get the title, you're the backbone of the Democratic Party. You get the black girl magic. You get to believe all women. You get your, you know, dance your booties. What was it? Bring your souls to the polls. And they use black women, strippers, to entice black men and black people down to the polls to vote. So if black women, and again, this is no knock to women in any personal way, but as a group, black women have been used politically to continually keep us on a political hamster wheel with the Democratic Party. And tangibly, it doesn't add up. You know, we have to make it make sense. We can't support bullshit. You know, they elevate women, they alienate men, and by stroking the woman's ego, you know, she's empowered and emboldened to continue to make decisions, you know, based on the level of ego stroking that she receives. Nothing physically tangible for the group. So we get political figures like Kamala Harris, who basically, their whole push was that she's a black woman. And lately we have this Ketanji Brown, or whatever her name is, the Supreme Court nominee, who has been very lenient on pedophiles. In all of her court cases, which, involved those types of circumstances, she went very easy. So are black women, if they're going to be independent and out front, are they able to protect the community? Look at the track record. What's going on? Because if you're going to be independent of black men, then you're going to have to be able to do everything that the black man can do. You're going to have to fill that void. Can you fill that void? You might be able to fill that void financially, because the way the system is set up, you might be able to get a job before your brother, before your husband, before your boyfriend. You might be able to get a higher paying job. Maybe your boyfriend has a criminal background. They try to make sure every black man has a criminal background, at least by the time he's 18 to 21 years old. They want to marginalize you as early as possible. That's why I start locking them up in the 3rd grade, putting handcuffs on them and things like that. Because they want the community to be dysfunctional. And the number one way you make a community dysfunctional is you remove the man, you remove the head, you remove the protection, you remove the covering. Or you severely incapacitate him or limit his ability to provide, security, financially and otherwise. So being that the black woman is so independent, I'm wondering, is it even possible on a large scale, to maintain or to get that position back, in any real way? And I'm going to continue this discussion. I just wanted to hop in really quickly while I was out and about, but I do plan on going live. Thank you, brother. I think I saw a comment come through. I'm not really used to doing, going live this way from my phone. And I thought I saw a comment. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on. This phone getting hot. So I'm going to go inside. I'm going to continue this live. And I probably want to have a panel discussion so we could chop it up about this. You know what I mean? Because it needs to be talked about in all of our households and all of our communities. If we want to get on some sort of code. Back to the lab without a mic to grab. And then I add all the rhymes I had. But yeah, like my phone got hot and started acting up. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on doing a live. really soon. I planned on going live this morning, but I got all off track. Do apologize for that. But yeah, I want to go live and talk about this. You know what I'm saying? You know, too many times I see black women out here going toe to toe with a man, and you know, I don't like it. Okay, absolutely. How do I get these comments to stay on the screen? Shit. I'm a noob at this. But yeah, thanks for anybody, you know, who's chimed in. And, you know, hopefully you guys can check in with me a little bit later. I'll post a link. And, you know, everybody who wants to chime in, I'll probably open up the discussion. And, you know, we can just go at it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, that's Doughboy Johnson. Yeah, shout out to you, Doughboy Johnson. Thanks for tapping in. Hope you subscribe to the channel. Check out, you know, some of my content. I think you know, you'd be thoroughly entertained and informed. But again, thanks for tapping in. And I'll post, you know, when I'm going to go live. It'll probably be a little later on this evening, if not tomorrow. But again, we're going to chop this up. I'm going to go ahead and tune out for now. But thanks for everybody who tapped in. See you on the other side. I'm trying to